Hi guys, in this video I cover the logical NOT operator. I go over the truth table and I'll demonstrate some examples. The logical NOT operator is an unary operator that's represented by an exclamation mark. The exclamation mark is always in front of an expression. So here the expression is A. And A could really be anything, could be some condition such as not number larger than 5. So here we do not want the value stored in the variable number be larger than 5. Now let's take a look at the truth table. So here I have A, again A is any expression, and this expression could evaluate to false or to true. Now applying the NOT operator to A would essentially flip the Boolean value. So if the Boolean value was false, it will change to true. If it was true, it will change to false. Let's take a look at an example. Let's say I have a Boolean variable is sunny, and I want the user to enter if it is sunny or not. And then I read that into the variable is sunny. Now before I apply the NOT operator, I want to keep this really simple, and I just check what the value is stored in the is sunny variable. So if it's true, I will enter the then block. If it's false, I will skip it. So here I just reflect it is sunny today. And then I run my program. Now entering 0 is false, entering 1 would be true. So first I enter 0. We can see nothing, it didn't enter the then block, so it skipped this statement. If I enter 1, it will execute the statement. Now, what will happen if we apply the NOT operator? Essentially, based on the truth table, we can see if the value that is stored in is sunny is false, it will change the overall condition here to true. So that means when it's not sunny, we will enter the then block. On the other side, if it is sunny, so if the value that's stored in the is sunny variable is true, not sunny will result in false, and if this condition is false, we will skip it. So I add the not statement here, so it is not sunny. And again, I enter 0, so we can see now when it's 0, it will enter the then block and output it is not sunny. Because is sunny was false, applying not will change it to true, and when the condition is true, we enter the then block. Now running this again with 1, it will skip it, because when the variable value is true, applying not to it will change the condition to false, and when this is false, we do not enter the then block. Let's take another look. Let's say I have a variable number, and I prompt the user to enter a number. I read that into the number variable. And here I check if the number is positive. And if it is positive, I output number is positive. Now I run this. Skip the first one. I enter a number here, and let's say I enter 10. So it says number is positive. Now applying the NOT operator will essentially check if it's not positive or if it's 0 or negative. So I enter not positive, and here if I enter, let's say -5, it will say it is not positive. Now one thing, if you start out with conditions, sometimes there are some situations where the NOT operator comes really in handy. Let's say you have a condition, and I revert this like this. Sometimes what beginner programmers do is they don't need to do anything in the then block, so they leave it empty, but they do want to do something here in the else block. And here they output, for example, number is 0 or negative. Whenever you run into a case where the then block is empty and you don't really care about it, you only care about the else block, this is a strong indication that you want to apply the not operator or somehow change the condition here. So when we add the not operator, right, this will change, will flip the Boolean variable, so will change from false to true or true to false. And by changing this condition, it will essentially change the blocks. So now I could move this in here, and if I had anything in the then block, I could move it to the else block. But since in this case I did not have any statements in the then block, I can move these statements from the else block into the then block, and I can completely get rid of the else block. So it's much cleaner programming. Now running this, and I enter 0, we can see it got executed. Now if I change this back to what I had, and I run this again with -5, so -5, it also gets executed. So these two are equivalent. So again, whenever you have something in the else block and you do not have anything in the then block, it's a good habit to use the not operator, move the statements from the else block into the then block, and then you can get rid of the else part of the condition. Now, I hope you enjoyed this video and hope you understand how to apply and how to use the not operator. Thank you for watching.